7 tradition states that every AA group ought to be fully self-supporting, declining outside contributions. We will now pass the basket. This is a weekly STEP meeting. Our format is as follows. A speaker is asked to speak for 25-30 minutes on the STEP of that week, followed by discussion or questions until 7 p.m. You can find these weekly meetings on our YouTube page, the Conscious Contact Speaker Group of Doylestown. Don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and share. And that brings us to the speaker portion of the meeting on this day of April 3rd, 2023 in Doylestown, PA at the Monday night 6 p.m. Stay Alive Literature and Step Group at St. Paul's Lutheran Church. Tonight's speaker is Jack, and he will be sharing his experience on Step 8 and 9. Please help me welcome Jack.
Hi, I'm Jack. I'm an alcoholic.
Hey, Jack.
How's everybody doing? Good to be here. I just said to Nick on the way here, I don't know about you guys, but it was a nice feeling coming down 313. It's just overwhelming of how cool it is to be part of something again, to be meeting friends, to feel like I'm with you guys. And for so long in my life, I felt apart from. I can never connect with you guys. I don't understand. I thought booze, drinking and other stuff's the problem. So I was told I can kind of walk through a little bit to give you a general idea of what I was like, what happened, and what brings me to Step 8 and 9, and why it's so important for me to do this work in order to stay here and really to stay spiritually awoke. I haven't realized how much of a sleep I really was until you start going through the work. But I'm an older 3 kids. I can go back. I have a memory that just seems to remember a lot of not good stuff, but it remembers in detail. All the way in school, I graduated or dropped out 11th grade. I couldn't read. I couldn't write. My first resentment with God, I was different. But back in them days, I just lived in my head. My whole life was formed in my head. And, what the teacher was going to say to me, well, I'm going to say back to the teacher. What my friends were going to say, what they were going to say, I was going to play with, who was going to be first. It was like this committee in my head constantly that ran my life. Today, I like to look at it as spiritual immaturity, and I don't know how to deal with that stuff. And, I ran with it for a long time. I was a misfit. Today they call it ADHD, and Mom didn't know what to do with me and take me to court, put them on medicine, he'll get well someday. And unfortunately, it never happened. And then the behavior started, dating girls and, stealing just to fit in. And all them isms started to come out. And I just wanted to be a part of something no matter what it took. And, until school said don't come back no more. I remember like yesterday, back in the day, I had the green mailboxes, kind of in Philadelphia where I'm from. 5 of us sitting around, a quart of beer, a little bit of weed, and 5 of us drank that booze. And that booze did exactly what it was supposed to do. Got everybody tipsy, and everybody's mom called them in, and they went in the house. And I know it did something for me that night. It changed my life. And I remember growing up in that same bunk bed, looking at the same Batman sheets I've been looking at my whole life, trying to figure out the world at 15, 16, 17 years old. And it stopped. Didn't talk to me. Didn't matter I was less than. Didn't matter I was good and I ain't as good as you. Didn't matter she didn't want to talk to me. Didn't matter what Mom told me anymore. Rules, they're gone. And I just made a complete 180. Complete 180. By the time I was 20, I used to hear the neighbors say, man, that Jackie's such a nice guy, but. And I thought, man, someday I would like to just get that butt out of there. And I didn't know how. And I didn't know that day I was going to make a conscious decision to make drinking and other things the most important part of my life. And anything that came in the way of it or got in the way of it was going, whether I liked it or not. And it was an answer. It was an answer to life. It was just, it worked. It worked, and there was no consequences. And it shut the head off. The problem is it stopped working, and the head don't shut off, and I can't put enough in my body. And you look over my shoulder, and there's decades of wreckage that I'm causing to keep this going. Because when someone would sit me down and say, Jackie, what is wrong with you? It was stuck in my throat, man. I wanted to tell you so bad that I'm scared to death that I'm not doing this thing life well at all. I don't know how to be a good son, a good brother, a good father, a good husband, a good person. How do you say that? My ego. See, my life's falling apart, but my ego's saying, these people don't know what they're missing, you know? Just keep putting it in me. Just keep putting it in me, you know? I just want to be comatose constantly because it shut me down. Like, I didn't know this process was about, you know, uncovering and discovering. I had no idea. You know, I just thought, I really did. I thought that stuff was the problem my whole life. And, you know, by the time I got here, this is not my first go around. I know a few people here. I've struggled with this program. I came in here, I was 20 years old. I'll be straight honest with all you, I'm 56 years old with a year and a half sober. And it didn't have to be. Didn't have to be. It didn't. But I come in here and I'm going to do it my way. I don't need that. I don't need guys to come before me. I got this. I thought I'd get that tattooed on my forehead. I got this. You know, that saying killed me. And I didn't know it's the ego, you know. So I'd come in and out of here many, many times, put the plug in the jug, don't drink, kids, sit down and shut up. And I was put a nice life together, you know. I got married, had a couple kids. And I didn't know anything about the isms. I didn't know what I suffered from yet. I just truly believed booze was my problem. I didn't know anything about steps. And I ran and I chased money, you know, and chased new cars and fast cars. And, you know, my kids had to have the best of everything and, you know, paint up the outside so I look good and feel good. It was because I just felt horrible about myself constantly. And I'm here to tell you, I did more bad behaviors untreated sober than I did drinking a lot. And that's as honest as I can be. And my ego don't want me to say that, but that's the truth. Like, I hurt people, whether I like it or not. People are getting hurt. And when my boat's sinking, I'm not going down alone. I'm taking all my loved ones with me. Come on, you're coming for the ride. But then I have an ego that says, why don't everybody just leave me alone? I'm not bothering nobody. I come in and out of here, and I've had experience. I was just looking at some of my work through the steps, and I come in and work the steps one time, and I didn't make 8 and 9. It's weird. I'm afraid I'm sitting here with 8 and 9 because I never do that. I don't need that. I hide behind, I'm making a living amends. Just stay sober, you know. Today I know that's a delusion too. Like, there's work that has to be done, some action. And, you know, so I come in and I ran around and helped people for a couple years. Like, I think our friend Chris Brennan says, I used people, men in AA like a bag of dope. When I didn't feel good, I just grabbed a new guy. You know, when I didn't feel good, I grab a new guy, just like I grab a drink, you know. And I didn't understand this ain't about getting anything, it's about giving. The selfishness and the self-centeredness has just followed me through this whole process, years and years and years and years. And by the time I got here this time, I'm going to tell you, everything I loved and cherished is long since gone. Gone. Kids that wants to be proud to call me dad, don't take my phone call. I was the oldest of 3, and my mom was proud of me. Please don't come here no more. My wife and I were best friends. She didn't talk to me for the last 3 years. She just died from cancer. Never thought it would end like that. But I'm a good guy. You know? People get tired. People get tired. Because there is a solution. And I was ignorant to it. You know, and I say today, and I pray and I ask God all the time, please keep my eyes wide open and help me to hear. Because I've been going through life blind as a bat and I didn't even know it. I know. I know. I got it. And I walk right out of these meetings. I get in my car and my head start again. And it tortured me one more time. Here we go. But now there's no poison in my body. Everyone I loved is gone. Why now? And this head I've been running from since I've been 16 is still with me. That internal turmoil, it just won't go away. And I started to pick up this. You know, I remember grabbing Nick this time and saying, like, what did you do different? I'd known you from before. You know, and it's very simple. As you live in your life, and as AA in your life, like you're dying. You know, do you treat it as such? Because I have a fatal illness that's going to kill me. And are you treating it as such? And the answer was no. You know, when it's convenient for me. You know, I'm trying to live some sort of insanity life and fit AA in it. When the reality is I needed to, you know, get the spiritual realm in AA and then kind of think everything else falls around it. I had inventory, somehow moving all these places I do, I was able to come up with like 18, maybe 16 years of inventories I found that I've written over the years. And it's amazing. It's the same stuff, and I never seen any of it. I never seen any because I did no work with it. So I came in this time, and I wrote some stuff, and I don't believe it, but I need this power. I've been praying to this thing. I don't know what they mean when they're saying that. But I just seem to just keep going, like, all right, I'll turn my will and my life over in 3, whatever. I'll just keep going because I'm scared. I don't know what to do, you know. The running shoes are off. But something happened when I put pen to pencil. I started seeing the truth about who I really am, drunk and sober, and my behavior and my patterns. And something in that I can almost see in my harms done. Some kind of love and compassion started to come over me for all these people that got hurt along the way. And I start talking about it, telling people, I got to do something. I can't stay here. I can't stay stuck. I got to keep moving. And, you know, in 6 and 7, we'll just go pray about it. 2 very short paragraphs. But I don't know about you. I'll pray about it, and I get up, and I still think about it. So all that turmoil is still with me, and I'm finally understanding, oh, this is what Bill was saying in 8 and 9. You need to take that list and go get right with the people in life so I can look people in the eye, so I don't feel ashamed, so I don't feel less than, so I don't feel worthless. Because when I feel like that long enough, I'm going back to a drink. It's just a pattern over and over. And I think the crazy thing is to sit here tonight when he asked me to do this. It's 2019. I decided I had enough. And I don't share about this ever. Ever. I've never shared this in a meeting. I shared it personal. I tried to take my own life. I remember Ron saying, keep it to yourself until you need it. I'll never forget it. May 5th, 2019, I said, enough. I can't live like this no more. And I walked into a Starbucks and tried to end my life by suicide by cop. And last week, I was just able to sit with every one of them police officers in the Abington Police Department and make amends, one at a time. And I understand now what AA is talking about. I never took that action, and that was the most scariest thing I ever did. But to hear how they felt, what I did to them, and to hear it. When a man said, I've been a cop 23 years, it was the worst call I've ever been on in my life. To hear what I do to others, you know. But when I got to the car, man, I was just I came in described how I felt. I mean, I started just bawling, like it was like a power that came over me, like, oh my God, there's something to this, man. I went right from there, and 3 blocks down the road, I'm driving home. It was like God said, here's a couple more. I live with these people while this was going on, and it was like boom, boom, boom. Now I'm starting to take action. And I felt it. I felt that come alive feeling, and I wasn't willing to do any of it. And the reason I did it this time was I'm scared to death that if I do the same old, I'm holding my breath, I'm going to exhale again. A drink will always win out for me. I've proven it over and over. But I also have a feeling knowing that God kept me alive for a reason, that we have a gift to help others. And that's my job now, and I'm okay with that. You know what I mean? I know firsthand what it's like, you know, and to let people know there is hope. There is hope. Like, you never have to live in that insanity again. But when that word is, you need to work at it. There's work to be done. now I'm understanding that I can honestly sit here and look at you guys and say, I'm doing the things that I'm afraid to do and don't want to do, but need to do. So I guess if anything got out of that is if you ain't doing step work, you might want to, if you're like me, because it's so vital. This is AA. This is AA. This is the work, you know. But that's all I have. Thanks.
Please limit your sharing to 3 minutes. Please keep your shares related to the step. If you feel like drinking or if you had a drink today, please see me or speak to someone after the meeting. We ask that you please refrain from the use of profanity. We are in a church and on a spiritual journey. And with that, we'll open up the meeting.